Being Jewish in Iowa is a lot different than being Jewish where I'm from in the North Shore of Chicago, because there it was kind of just a normal thing.
I grew up in a really Jewish area, so it's extremely different for me.
Everyone at home is Jewish, or pretty much everyone that you're around or you go to school with or growing up was Jewish, and I never thought it was a big deal that I was Jewish.
I came from a place that's very high percentage of Jewish people.
Whereas here it's kind of, I'm back to being a minority now that I'm Jewish, but here it's also a lot more of a tight-knit community than where I'm from because there are fewer of us. So I do like it here more, and it makes me appreciate my past a little bit more too.
And here I guess it's just like something different about you, and not everyone can relate to, pretty much no one can relate to here. And so I've never been stuck out as being a Jewish person, we were all Jewish where I come from, so yeah.
Where I'm from, we get high holidays, we don't have school on high holidays.
Something funny is that my friends from freshman year, because not a lot of people are Jewish on campus, and saying the word Jewish, you didn't want people to just automatically look at you or think of something about you or just start judging you. So we had a code name for Jewish, and it was Canadian. So anytime we thought we would see someone Jewish, we'd be like, oh, is he Canadian? Or oh, is she Canadian? And that would be our way of seeing if someone was Jewish or not without saying the word Jewish.
I get a lot of questions, oh, you're the first Jewish person I met, do you speak Jewish?
I was the youngest treasurer also for the University of Iowa Olympic Weightlifting Club. They're like, oh, Jewish, that makes sense, you're good with money. It's like, no, just fiscally responsible and motivated, but thank you. Those little jabs like that over and over again, it's the stereotypes that you hear about over and over again, and I guess those are a lot more prevalent than people tend to realize. They just kind of look past them because a little jab like that doesn't mean much when you look at some of the other big cultural issues that we have.
She sneezed and I said, bless you, and she said, why'd you say bless you? You don't believe in God. She thought Jews didn't believe in God. I was like, no.
There's a lot of ignorance and stupid people in this world. That's just a fact. That's the way this place is. And so there's a lot of uneducated people that kind of make assumptions about Jews only because they've never met one or had a conversation with us. And so I think that can be frustrating, but instead of getting upset, I just try to calmly educate them about some of the misconceptions they may have so that those don't come up and the world becomes a more tolerant place.
Because in Iowa City, it's very hard to get kosher meat. The closest place that sells it is Postville.
There's some, cold winter nights or when you're sick that you really want a nice matzo ball soup, and you can't even get a chicken noodle soup anywhere here that's good. And at home there's a million Jewish delis that you can just go to and pick up a chicken noodles or a matzo ball soup or a potato latke, and here you would have to figure out how to make it.
And Hy-Vee, I remember last year, they started stocking Passover stuff probably a month and a half early because they think it's always at the same time, but because of the way the Jewish calendar is set up, Passover and all the holidays move depending on the lunar cycle. So they ended up putting stuff out super early and selling out before even Passover started, which was very interesting. It's very typical of Iowa because they don't really know what it means. They just know that, hey, during this time, usually we sell a lot of matzah and other kosher Passover stuff, so they just order it at that time. They don't look when the holiday is.
I guess finding a husband in Iowa City is pretty challenging just because there's barely Jewish people here, so then you gotta find a Jewish guy here, and then you pretty much know all the Jews in Iowa City, and you just don't want to date them because you already know them so well.
It's just an interesting experience, especially with the university and stuff, because my first year of school, recruitment was on the most important Jewish holiday of the year, and that's actually one of the reasons that I dropped out of recruitment and didn't join a Greek organization the normal way. So I think it's definitely affected my school experience.
When I was still at home, being Jewish wasn't a special thing, and so I didn't think much of it. And so here I think being at college with a more diverse group of people is a better representation of what the real world is like, not living in the bubble that I came from.